Right, good. Should be streaming on YouTube coming up in a few minutes, people. Daily Chaos. Doing a co-show today with WakeUpUK. Censored. Oh, blimey. Hold on a sec. Let me just sort out my audio. Just a sec. Started streaming a few minutes early because I've had to rebuild this this rig. And so I wanted to make sure that it was all working. Hopefully, with a bit of luck, it should have... Please let me know, folks, if you can't hear. Hopefully the audio just improved a wee bit there. And yeah, coming up. Right, okay. Let's have a... Before the show starts, we've got a few minutes. Let's listen to a bit of old Trump. In where is he today? Where is he? In Bullhead City, Arizona. Okay.
And he wouldn't get crowds like this. If Ronald Reagan, who I consider be top notch, if he came here, he'd have a couple of hundred people legitimately. He'd go into a ballroom, someplace inside. He'd go into a ballroom, and it'd have 200-300 people. And that's for, that's what the standard was. We're having 25, 30, 35, 40, 45,000 people. And I'd leave some of these crowds. We were packed in Florida and all these places. And I'd leave some of the crowds and I'd look at that. Look at that. You can't even see the end. You can't even see. If they were legitimate, they'd show. They never show it on camera. They never show it on camera. Get the mic.
This is care of Right Side Broadcasting Network. Thanks, guys. Awesome. The only network, public funded, that shows the crowd.
Yesterday they made the mistake. The camera slipped, and they showed his crowd. He had about 20 people there, Barack Hussein, which was about 10 people more than Sleepy Joe had yesterday. You saw we were in Pennsylvania, right? You saw that. And we had 3 rallies, all in Pennsylvania. It was incredible. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And Joe was in his basement, and he saw it. And his handlers, much more importantly, saw it. They say, Sleepy Joe, we have to get you out of here. We got to move you in. I mean, it's not looking good because, they put a lid on, a lid for a garbage can. That's where it comes from. They put a lid on. And he has a lid today again. The guy's got lids every damn day. And then he said, he doesn't want to have big crowds. Really? Because of COVID. He's such a great citizen. He's such a great guy. Then why did he cheat so much with Hunter? Where's Hunter, by the way? Is Hunter here? Where's Hunter? Where is Hunter? Remember we did the T-shirt, Where's Hunter? It's sold like Hunter. Now we have, it's called The Laptop from Hell. The Laptop from Hell, bro. This is the greatest laptop I've ever seen. This thing is gold. It's gold, except for the news that doesn't want to look at it. They refuse to look at it. This is the laptop from hell. It's the worst. Nobody's ever seen anything like it, except for Anthony Weiner. That was a long time. I would rate Anthony's maybe even worse. I don't know. Anthony, that was not good. For the last 4 years, I've been delivering the Hispanic Americans a message like they haven't heard for a long time.
Okay, coming up in a few minutes, folks. Daily Chaos. Doing some one-off shows at the moment. Doing an election special next week on the election night stroke the following morning up to goodness knows about midday. Going to be quite a session, that. Not that we're expecting a result. Unless Trump wins by a landslide and does a Reagan. But otherwise, if it's too close to call or remotely, if Trump's only won by, I don't know, 5 to 10%, then I don't think we're going to see the media allowing him to call it. He will call it, I guess, yeah, but the media will side, as we've seen and heard, with the Democrats and the deep state, the globalists, yeah, the Great Reset. And so that's what we can expect probably. So don't be surprised if we don't see a result on the election for weeks. until maybe it goes to the Supreme Court or else to the House of Representatives and the Senate. Look, so tonight, coming up, censored, because we are being so censored. I don't know if you saw any of the Senate committee into Big Tech today, with Facebook and Twitter and Google in the hot seat. But I mean, it's pretty atrocious. A lot of us are being affected by it. Going to be discussing this with Jeremy Poole from WakeUpUK in a minute, co-hosting a show. He's going to be doing a show for WakeUpUK. I'm doing Daily Chaos, and we're joining forces. Which, you know what, activists, we need to be doing more of this, people. Just to expand our horizons, to try and get out there as much as we possibly can. Give each other a helping hand and all the rest of it. Get the word out. So we're going to be talking about that, plus dubious COVID-19 stats, contradicting lockdown policy, and the World Economic Forum's stated intention to use this pandemic to implement the Great Reset. Go to their website if you don't believe me. Just type into your favorite search engine, which should not be Google, yeah? WEF, or World Economic Forum, Great Reset. Top result, look at it. That's what they want. It used to be known as the New World Order. They rebranded that. They got the message eventually that people thought that sounded a bit too Orwellian. It's the same thing. The choice for the US, of course, liberty versus the Great Reset. The mainstream media's ongoing cover-up of the alleged Biden crime family. We're going to be talking about that and Tony Bobulinsky's testimony to Tucker Carlson last night. If you haven't seen that, you should be watching that. Actually, if you haven't seen that, don't watch this, watch that. Go and find it. It's absolutely amazing. There are links on my timeline on Facebook and what have you if you want to find the link for that. Or even better, watch this and then watch that. But we're going to be talking about that. And not least, the mainstream media's ongoing cover-up despite that extraordinary evidence and despite a key question, is Joe Biden in China's pocket? All that coming up in just a few minutes' time, as soon as I can connect with old Jeremy on Wake Up UK. Back to Trump.
To win a record share of Hispanic Americans, of African Americans, of Asian Americans. We're going to win a historic share of women. Remember last time? He will not get women, remember? He will not get women. Well, it didn't work out that way, right? At the end of the night, I don't know what happened. He got a lot of women. We did very well with women. You know why? Women are very smart. They want security. They want safety. If they're from suburbia, the suburban women, they give me a hard time on suburban women, the people, the fake news. You know what they want? They want security. And they don't want their neighborhood destroyed. And I ended the regulation that would destroy their neighborhood. But I'm not just running against Joe Biden. I'm running against the left-wing mob and the left-wing media, the big tech giants. And I'm also running against the rhinos. Do you know what a rhino is? A rhino may be the lowest form of human life. I actually sort of like the others better than the rhinos. You know why? Wow. That plane's about 4 days old. You know, we have all brand new equipment, F-35s, everything. We're the envy of the world. You know what? We are the envy. Do you know about that, Dan? We're the end. Look at that sucker. He's trying to show off to the president. Yeah, that's one of ours. I got to be sure about it. Got to be careful. And they have nothing but disdain for you and for your values. They lecture you on open borders. By the way, we don't have borders. They want to have open borders, you know? We're just now completing the wall. The wall will be finished very soon. Mexico will be paying for the wall, by the way. But they lecture you on everything. If a country doesn't, I love that sound. I love it. You don't know what I went through to get those suckers up there. I had to get that money from the Democrats. Oh, look at that. Look. Oh, Look at that. They gave the president a little display.
So you got control, Jeremy.
Okay. Let me start my video.
Wow.
Different view.
How about that? How about that? I wonder if the fake news caught that. Did you see that camera? Because they never turn the camera. They don't want to show anything that's good. Wow, that was something, huh? So they were trying to get our attention with the...
Did you see that? I didn't see that. Damn, how frustrating. What, I'd have a big Trump banner behind a Boeing whatnot. I don't know. I don't know what that was. Anyway, we are now joining with Wake Up UK in just a few seconds. Hey, Jeremy Poole, bless you, mate. Can you hear me?
Can you hear you loud and clear? Great to speak to you again.
Superb,
Fabulous
man.
to speak to you.
Talk
On Wake Up
about seat in our
UK,
pants.
on YouTube, on the Daily Chaos, all over the world with Ollie Connolly.
Hey, folks.
Hero.
Now hold on. Let me sort out your video here. So I've got you on the old thing with your. With
That's
your
okay.
bots.
Watching Trump is good. Watching Trump is good.
We'll watch a bit of Trump. We'll cut in between the two of you. Cut in between the two of you. Jeremy, how are you,
He's
man?
more important. I'm
How's
all right.
life?
Yeah. Stuck at home now. We're in lockdown. 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? It's mad. So your lockdown is earlier then, because lockdown here in Valencia is midnight.
Let me explain that to you.
Go on.
The Spanish government tells us lockdown starts at 11 o'clock. Here you are.
Hello, mate. Right. Yes.
Spanish government says lockdown 11 till 6. So the Catalan government has to go one better. What do they say? Lockdown 10 till 6. So it's
It's crazy.
You know what they like. I don't know what
there's so much
the Catalan government
to go
has
through.
to prove they one step further. That's better.
This basically the deal in Spain, because obviously it's varying around the world, but the deal in Spain is that there are now these emergency powers that last until, is it next March or next May? A long time.
It's May.
A
hell of a long time.
And these are kind of advisory powers. It's not quite as bad as it was with what they're calling the first wave. When in fairness, we didn't know so much about this thing, but then it was a complete curfew, 24 hours a day. You're only allowed out to get your shopping, essential shopping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now you're allowed out. It depends from region to region. So it's a bit like regions the size of Wales or Scotland or some of them maybe is almost as half the size of England, something like that. And there's, however many different regions, a dozen or whatever, and they can all set their own thing in Spain. But there are regions that are, for example, in Valencia here, between midnight and 6 o'clock in the morning, when it's quiet, for crying out loud, you're not allowed out. In Jeremy's case, so Catalonia, Barcelona, all that, until 6 in the morning, from 10 to 6. In the UK, obviously, it's different again.
And
regional,
mandatory masks have been in now for 4 or 5 months.
Yes. Yeah. So we're all muzzled.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I seen a video you did a few weeks ago where you went to the beach, and it was you took it off when you went to the beach. I try not to wear it if I can, but it's very difficult. And people who say, "Oh, don't wear it," it's bloody hard not to wear it over here. When you're walking down the street, you see the police.
Yeah.
What
are the fines?
Police. You're not going to get.
You can get fined thousands, no? You
Sorry?
can get fined a lot of money. And the fact is that they still have a Franquista mentality in this country. And
I go into I have my mask here ready when I see the police, and I pull it up, and when they go past, I pull it back down. Simple as that.
Yeah, me too.
Because I know that you can't mess around with them. You can't do it over here.
Mm.
The local police in my town, you get on the wrong side of them, you're on the wrong side of them for years.
Mm.
And it's a small town. You don't recover from that in a small town.
Yeah, no, it's difficult.
It's
I remember you last time we did a show together. You were telling me how this was at the beginning of lockdown, and you were telling me how you'd you were breaking curfew yourself.
Yeah.
I was telling you I was walking from bin to bin to bin with me organics or my plastics or whatever, just to go, to have a wander, walking between them like a bin man, like a bag lady, and looking like it. You were telling me you were walking about in your village, but you were beginning to get some funny looks. That was right at the beginning of the first lockdown.
Yeah, it was. And it got worse. It got worse as we went along. But I still managed to get out every day for walks. My children couldn't. My wife couldn't. Couldn't go together, for sure. But now I got a dog, so I can get out. Whatever.
Oh, mate.
People are getting dogs everywhere.
Yeah, dogs have been a saving grace for a lot of people. Yes. An excuse to get out. In the UK, they're talking about, Christmas is essentially banned now. This is going on all around the world. We all know pretty much what's going on with that. What is the backstory here? What is at stake so far as this US election, 6 days away now? What's at stake? What is this great reset thing? Is that what this is about?
Well, I think so. I think this is the tipping point for me. I'll see if I can. I don't know how this is going to work. I'll see if I can screen share something with you. I've been looking at in the last few. I got a few things I could share with you. But first of all, I just want to show you that if you ever believe it's a lie or not, there's one thing I'll show you now that I just get it up and ready. And I will. It's the Euromomo statistics. Now, I've showed these before. On numerous occasions. I hope my computer is up for this tonight. Mm-hmm. The Euromomo statistics. I don't know if you've used these at all, Ollie, if you can see them at all.
I can at the moment see that you've started screen sharing.
It'll take
double
a while,
click
probably.
to enter full screen mode. I'll do that. Oh, no, I don't really want that. But yeah,
no,
play your vid. Hopefully we'll see.
My computer is slow, so just wait. This is the Euromomo statistics. I can see yours, so I can see when it's going to come up. No problem.
Okay. Yeah. So remind us what these statistics refer to. I can't hear you now, Jeremy. He's left.
He's frozen. This may have been his internet saying.
That's Jeremy. That's Jason. Jason Tyler.
Jason,
the big geezer.
How the devil
at
are
WakeUp
you,
UK. Hey, Jason, how are you, man?
Normally what happens when this happens is he'll freeze for about 30 seconds. Then you hear like a ding dong and he's like, left the meeting and he'll come back.
That's all right.
I'm back.
That's all right. Good on you, Jeremy.
Still.
All right, mate.
I think I'm back.
Right. Have another go.
Hear you, but I don't think we can see you.
Excellent. I can see myself anyway.
Right.
No,
right.
Well, I'll have to turn off the screen share and try again later. I can't turn it off. I can't get.
It's like Catalan internet, isn't it? That's what it is.
I am viewing Jeremy Poole's screen, it says here. I've got some view options.
Yep. Here we go. Is it up?
Yeah, we're not seeing Jeremy.
No, I can't see it.
I think you might as well give up on this screen sharing. Maybe you could send Ollie the link and he can screen share it.
Yeah. Well, it says it's screen sharing now.
No, it's not. It's not this end. It's
No, it's not my end.
Oh no,
yeah.
it is.
There we go.
It's come through.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see how we get on. While you're screen sharing,
explain what this is, right?
Jeremy, while you're screen sharing, do you want to turn your camera off? Because if you turn your camera off while you're screen sharing, it helps.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go there now. But I'm okay now, am I?
You are. Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, great.
It's a bit.
But this is the Euromomo, and this is excess deaths in Europe.
Right.
Now, if you can see, that's from 2017.
Jeremy, one sec. I'm just enlarging this so that people can see it as good as possible. Yeah. Just a sec. Right. Okay. There we go. Let's have a look at. Have a look at that.
This is from 2017 to now. Okay. Yes. Now this big peak year was March this year when we had the pandemic. However, I did a video every week on this up to then, and that peak didn't exist. It was invented in about, it came about week 12. It just appeared from here, from week 8 to week 12, the actual death rate went down and then anyway, that's another point. Assume that is there. Look where we are now.
Yeah.
European death rate.
Way down.
We're on the baseline.
This
and
is
I
all
can bring it
deaths,
down to
yeah?
show you that
Jeremy?
even up to 44, we're down massively below. The red line is excess deaths. The blue
Right.
line is normal. So we're below normal.
Is this
And
all
it's
deaths?
only all
Is this
deaths.
all deaths? Everything?
All death. No, excess deaths above the norm.
Excess. Okay, right. So right
Anything
now...
above the blue line is the normal. That's the number
Right.
of deaths, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000.
Right,
And that blue line is the normal.
right.
So, and these are this is European Union figures, whether you can believe those. But you can see even 85 plus year olds, there's no excess deaths at the moment. But I can show you perhaps a little bit better than that if I come down to each country, which is further down. I'm sorry to zoom down so quick.
No,
This is a picture
please.
of Europe at the moment. The only place with moderately high death rates is Spain, according to that. The rest have either got low excess or no excess. And Britain is being closed down for no excess deaths in week 41. Now, you see, it becomes even more. If I just put this for 2020 now, I'll just change the graph so you can just see this year. 2020, okay. Start with Austria, no excess deaths all year. Belgium did have a peak. And you start to wonder when you look through the countries, why some countries have this massive excess in Belgium, no excess in Denmark, no excess in Austria, no excess in Estonia, no excess in Finland. And at the end where we are now, there's nothing at all in any of them. Even if you look at France, the XX deaths are at minus 6% at the moment. Germany, Berlin, nothing even in the peak. And this is the figures of crazy figures. You see an excess in Ireland, but nothing now. You see an excess in Italy, but nothing now. You don't, Luxembourg, Malta. Netherlands had an excess and another one, a second peak here. And as you work your way down, Spain had the biggest of all peaks, and it's got an excess now. And it is the only country with excess death now. You can go down. England is down. Northern Ireland down. Scotland down. And Wales down a long way for excess deaths at the moment, which is staggeringly strange. So when people talk about the pandemic, the figures don't bear it out. These figures do not bear it out. These graphs just don't. And this is European Union figures.
Yes.
So that is the Euromomo. Keep an eye on it because these figures will change. They'll be updated and things will disappear and things will be added as they were before. Anyway, that's
Quite
that.
something.
I'll go off
Quite
my
something.
screen share now and I can talk to you again.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let me just...
Thank
but you can see that where I come from, I'm on you twice now.
Yeah.
There we are, Ollie. Ollie, you can see where I come from when I say we can see it in Spain, a small excess deaths. But the rest of Europe, especially Britain, where are these excess deaths? There's loads of videos on YouTube showing... Davy Russell put one up today showing all these hospitals in Britain with 0 people in them.
Yeah.
Where is it coming from? Why are people not seeing the fact? Over here, I'm still not seeing dead people. I don't know about you in Valencia. There's lots of talk about it, but not much deaths.
It's impossible for the average Joe to know. I'm hearing contradictory reports within the medical profession. I'm hearing 1 or 2 people saying that it really is chaotic and crazy. And I'm also hearing about lots and lots and lots of doctors saying that it's just totally hyped. And I'm hearing contradictory tales between the regular madrileños, the folks living in Madrid, and that of the national government, who is having a tussle with the local government, who does not want to lock down, where the national government does and has in Madrid. And so it's very, very hard to know what to believe, but we do know that the flu death rate has fallen through the floor this year.
Yes.
We are in flu season now. It just could be, possibly, that some of these so-called COVID-19 deaths, or with contributory COVID-19 factor, are actually flu deaths. And what we do know is that this PCR test that they're using to diagnose COVID-19, the Center for Disease Control in the United States said that it is very plausible that if you've ever had a cold, you might come up as a false positive for COVID-19. And also, Boris Johnson said that this test only worked, guaranteed 100%, in 7% of the cases. Now, that was, 2 months ago or so, or 3 months ago. They also told us that masks were detrimental to our health, which, if I listen to my body, which is the way I was brought up, to listen to your body, to use things like intuition, if we're allowed to anymore, please, nanny state.
I think it's called common sense, but it doesn't exist. It just doesn't add up, does it? We know that in the case of the United States and of the UK, the CDC, the Centre for Disease Control in the States, and the British government notes to medical practitioners, when somebody dies, if in doubt, put COVID-19 on the death certificate. At least as a contributory factor. And later, very nearly finished, Jeremy. In the case of America, they also said in the same guidance notes that if then, after an autopsy, it's disclosed that there was no COVID-19 affected in that patient's death, it will not see any adjustment on the official mortality rate. So all the stats and the tests, and it's just a lot of old bunk, it seems to me, Jeremy. And I really, really don't know quite what to believe, but I do know that my common sense from what I am seeing around me tells me that this whole thing stinks to high heaven. The media is being entirely imbalanced in their coverage of this thing and are not questioning people such as the World Economic Forum, who have stated on their website that coronavirus is the perfect opportunity to roll in this new world order, this great reset. Yeah, I got a video lined up for that in a minute. I'll try and screen share. I didn't try too early. I'll let my computer relax first. I think you're dead right with that. But one of the things, I think the fall in flu deaths, it could be from counting one as the other. But there's another, I've been thinking about this today, and I think possibly that flu is less contagious than the coronavirus, supposedly. Mm-hmm. So possibly these measures have actually worked in stopping the flu, and all the people who would have got the flu died in this peak. So possibly now they've had an unintentional effect, and they've cut the deaths down, but in the wrong place. So now people are, like the graphs I've just shown you now, are not showing people dying of coronavirus at all. Yeah. And because not many people are dying, and they were expecting people to die of the flu, and perhaps these masks have stopped flu. I don't know. I don't wear one, but they could have had the unintentional effect of stopping the flu, which would be a positive effect. But
there's a lot of
sense
not
measuring for flu,
what you say,
or they're just not looking for it.
There's a lot
and
of
they're calling it coronavirus. I'm not sure of that one, but for sure they're ignoring flu. It is being completely and utterly ignored because it's not important. The important thing is pushing the now we've got the long COVID, which came up about 2 or 3 weeks ago. The long COVID, it means anything. Anybody got any kind of disease or any kind of bad feelings after COVID, it's COVID. Any symptoms of COVID, to be honest. Diarrhea is COVID, not diarrhea is COVID. Bad chest is COVID, not bad chest is COVID. Bad head is COVID, not. Bad ears, bad everything is COVID. Over here, every single symptom can be put down to one thing. It's the most powerful thing in the world, COVID, because it's got all the symptoms of every other disease.
Yeah.
And yet the Great Reset, that's what I wanted to talk about. And you've got the leak. I know you've seen the leak, whether it's a true leak or not. I didn't believe it at the start. The
Which leak?
Canadian leak.
Yes, the Canadian story. Remind us what that's all about.
I've got it here, actually, right? I don't think I'm going to risk screen sharing it at the moment. It was a leak.
Okay. Talk us through.
Meeting, supposedly, I've got it up in front of me now. Which one? Yeah, here it is. It's on the Canadian report, and it's a leak dated October the 10th, 2020. And it was a committee sitting with a strategic plan with that idiot that runs Canada.
Trudeau.
What do they call it? Trudeau, that's the one. When I say idiot, you know what I meant. And it's talking about the end of 2020. There's another phased lockdown at the end of November.
They're in one now.
Isolation facilities being built. The main thing of that was they're building isolation facilities for December 2020.
That's right.
And I thought it was
no,
bullshit.
It's not. It's true. My cousin. I was talking to him the other day.
Yeah.
And he was telling me about it.
Yeah, and yep. And
he's in
I started
Ottawa.
to look into it then. I thought, this is just a leak that's it's just made up. I started reading through it, and it talks about buying up people's properties, getting rid of private property, and then using these camps as basically concentration camps for people who have not had the vaccine and who do not agree with the government.
Well, they originally said that they were for people coming into the country from abroad to quarantine them. No?
Yes.
And now, when they actually passed the act or what have you in the Parliament in Ontario province in Ottawa, in the Parliament building there, they said they changed the language so that it could basically be anybody that could be detained in one of these concentration camps, medical facilities, FEMA camps, whatever you want to call them, I guess. The bottom line is your liberty is gone. You're in prison. You're incarcerated at the behest of the government for apparently any reason that they choose. What happened when you shared this, Jeremy?
Well, I got thrown off YouTube for a week straight away. The video was taken down instantly, and I was off YouTube. I can read you a little bit of it now. It says,
please.
It talks about the buying up of all debts and owning all property, and it says, we're told it was the individual's best interest to participate. When several committee members pushed relentlessly to get an answer, we were told that those who refused would first live under the lockdown restrictions indefinitely. So if you refuse to take the World Debt Programme, you're in lockdown indefinitely. And over the short period of time, as more Canadians transitioned into the debt forgiveness programme, the ones who refused to participate would be deemed public safety risk and would be relocated to isolation facilities, concentration camps. That's my words.
Now, hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. Just to clarify, the World Debt Programme, isn't that an International Monetary Fund thing?
It is the International Monetary Fund. They are the ones, it's further on up, it says they're the ones buying up all the debt for the World Debt Reset Programme. And it carries on, once in those facilities, you would be given two options. Participate in the debt forgiveness programme and be released, or stay indefinitely in isolation facility under the classification of serious public health risk and have all assets seized. So the choice is take part or stay in a concentration camp for the rest of your life.
So what does that mean? That I don't understand. I thought that the World Debt Programme was something they were trying to roll out as a part of the Great Reset, a component, a bit like Agenda 2030 is a component, and that it was addressing nation states as opposed to individuals. You're saying that it's addressing individuals.
Yes, that's what it seems like on here. It seems that they're buying up personal debt, any debt, and they own your house, they own it. And it comes back to, My computer stopped again. The 8 predictions for the world in 2030 by the World Economic Program.
Yeah, go on.
World Economic Forum. I don't know if I can share this video. I'd like to, but the first one is no possessions, but you're happy.
Yeah.
I'll try and share it because I think this deserves to be shared, and you'll see that there really is a pure. I hope my computer works a bit better this time.
I have seen this, but you're right. People need to see it. No possessions.
Look,
it sounds like a John Lennon song, but I thought that was romantic. Apart from the religion bit, get rid of. Anyway, sorry. Carry on. Go on.
I do. Oh God.
We're trying this. We're trying this again. All right. Okay.
It'd be better
while
to
Jeremy
send a link over to Ollie and let Ollie share it with.
I'll try to now, but I think I've already hit, haven't I?
Here we go. Right. 8 predictions for the world in 2030.
If I can get the. Okay, here we go. You only really need to see the first one to understand what it's about. If it'll work.
We're doing a co-show tonight. Co-show, yeah.
Yes.
This is what we all need to do, us activists, is to try and expand our horizons as best we can and help each other. Anyway, 8 predictions. Jeremy Poole with Wake Up UK.
We're only going to get one because this is not working. Do you want me to send the link over to you? Perhaps you've got a better computer than me.
All right, I'll have a go. Yeah, I'll have a go. Fine.
I will.
So, yeah, blimey.
Stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ollie, while Jeremy's sending you the link, Ollie, do you want to give a plug for your YouTube channel and website?
Yeah. Thank you, Jason. Which is youtube.com/Daily Chaos, which it is. Auto ab ruddy KO, especially on my show when I'm trying to sort out the audio. And the other place is my site, which is dailychaos.news. So go there, please, and register it. Because when we're all kicked off Facebook, that is where you can hang out with people and message them.
Facebook and YouTwat,
yes. And WakeUpUK.net, another wonderful venue to hang out and keep in touch with folks.
And let's not forget Jeremy Poole, the family man on YouTube.
Not much longer if you keep.
Not for much longer the way it's going.
You'll find Jeremy once a week on WakeUpUK.net.
That's Jeremy Poole with an E. So there you go. Lots of plugs. Right.
Oh, it started working now. I can't get it to stop now. Okay, let's copy. I am trying my hardest.
Send me the link, mate.
My computer.
Send me the link.
In
fact, you know what?
More plugs on the party of Arrow.
I've got it. I've probably got it. Hold on. What is it? It's the 8 things. World Debt Pro. What's the actual title of the video called, Jeremy?
That's it there in front of you. 8 predictions for the world. Oh.
8 predictions for the world. Yeah. And is that from the?
I can't even get on.
Is that from the IMF?
Now.
Is that from the IMF?
Yes.
Okay.
It's called 8 Predictions. It was made in 2016 or 2017. That's the one. Oh, that's mine.
Yeah, that's you. That's you.
Mine is playing again now. It's called the World 8 Predictions for the World in 2030.
Oh, right.
It says you will own nothing, but you will be happy.
Yeah, happy. Happy on what? Happy on stupidity. Happy on being dumbed down.
Just remember that was exactly what we were told under communism.
Yeah,
that's
right.
That is exactly the words we were told. You own nothing, but you are happy. That's the one there. Can you see it now?
Not on your. Can you see my machine? No, you can't. You can't see what I'm looking at.
No, I could see. It came up on mine a bit. I think that was just me though.
I can just see. Yeah. I can see your beautiful bonnet, mate. Bonce. Here it is. This is it. I've got it on Facebook. This is it. Right. Here we go, folks. Have a look at this. Yeah. Right. Hold on. Blimey. Yeah. There you go. Right. Listen to this, people.
Just before that, just a little bit before that.
There you go. This is it. No more red meat. Blimey.
Yeah, I'm knackered.
Occasional treat, not a staple. All that. 1 billion people will be displaced by climate change, they reckon. We'll have to do a better job at welcoming and integrating refugees. Polluters will have to pay to emit carbon dioxide. There will be a global price on carbon. This will help make fossil fuels history. You could be preparing to go to Mars. Yeah, I can think of a few people to send there. Scientists will have worked out how to keep you healthy in space. The start of a journey to find alien life. I think we've got some here. Western values will have been tested to the breaking point. Checks and balances that underpin our democracies must not be forgotten. God, they're hypocrites. Right, let's just go through those points again. So you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. In other words, communism.
Yeah.
Whatever you want, you'll rent, and it'll be delivered by
Can we hold
drone.
that there? Can you press pause there, please?
Yep.
Because
Right.
who are you going to rent off? You own nothing, right?
Yeah.
But you're happy, of course. Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah. And you're going to rent things. But who are you renting off? Is this the government you're renting off, or the Amazon, or these super rich people? Is it all pigs? All animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. Still?
Yeah.
Or,
that's right.
Because
that's what it sounds like.
In front of me here, I've got this. The reason I got this is the global goals.
Let me pull you in.
Sorry.
No, that's all right.
Only a second.
There we go. Yep.
These are the global goals, right? See that?
Yes. Very colourful.
They're all there.
Yep.
Now, the reason I've got that is because
that's the lapel. That's the lapel pin that Boris Johnson was wearing a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
that colour thing.
That's the United Nations EMF Global. That is what is taught to our kids in the schools. That comes from my son's school.
Yeah, that colour scheme is the same colour scheme in Boris Johnson's lapel pin that he was wearing a few weeks ago when he was telling us all about the Great Reset. They just didn't say what it was, what it meant. They didn't share that video. They didn't tell us we were all going to be communists.
And on there is not one mention of democracy.
Yeah.
There's just all nicey.
Yeah, nicey.
But no mention of democracy. No mention of national states. Just everybody happy.
Right. So the rest of this vid. The US won't be the world's leading superpower. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. This 6 days' time is the pivot on that and all of this. Anyway, a handful of countries will dominate. Well, you know what? Will it be a handful? It'll be the UN, won't it?
Yeah, it'll be one.
It'll be the UN with places like China.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to have Russia in charge. They're not going to have Britain unless we've told the line. It's not going to be a handful of nations. It's going to be 0 nations. If a handful of nations are in charge, who's voting for those? Nobody. Who votes for the UN? It wasn't me. Sorry,
they want to call the EU a nation, don't they? It's got its own flag and anthem and all that. Unelected plutocrats or whatever. Anyway, bit more. All right. You won't die waiting for an organ donor. We won't transplant organs. We'll print new ones instead. And, we saw the rest of that. No more meat.
How are you going to pay for those?
Hey? What?
How are they paid for? Do you rent them and give them back?
What, the organs?
Because they're suggesting we're all happy, we've got nothing. But I can tell you what, there will be people paying for those organs. And how are you going to pay? Just because you own nothing and you don't actually get anything, you just rent them.
Carbon credits. Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all about carbon credits. So they'll take a balance check off you, depending on how much your carbon footprint is, and I don't know how much you fart, and how much you breathe, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And if you plant a tree in your garden, you might get 5 credits back. I mean, that is how it is going. No, they want to get rid of all cash and currencies, which probably need reforming if they're fiat, but they want to get rid of them entirely. So you've got no cash liberty, and instead of that, you're going to have a chip in your hand or something, and everything is going to be controlled on that. It's going to go to a database, centralized database, the Internet of Things, controlled by 5G, which is all another huge part of this, part and parcel with this entire Great Reset deal. They want to take advantage of all of that so they can track you entirely. They know exactly what you're doing. Everything you do is automatically charged. You don't even think about it. You walk in and out of shops or whatever, you take what you want, everything's scanned as you go. You know, checkouts or whatever.
Well, take Elon Musk's eye in the sky to help everyone, to make sure every place in the world is connected to 5G. All those satellites going all over the world. It's only to help the people. That's what it's for, is to help us all be connected. It's not to let them keep an eye on us. It's to help us. Ollie, how do I send another link to you now? Because I got you. I got you back. I can send
Bung
you
it
on
over on Messenger, mate. Bung it over on Messenger. On that Facebook Messenger thing.
Okay, it's not working very well at the moment. Yeah, so that's the. I want to send you the Rebel News link, so you can put a bit of that on there as well. That's I just sent it.
Or
now.
tell me what it is. Give me the title of it,
Sorry?
and I'll look it up. Give me the title of it, and I'll look it up.
I just sent it, I think.
Oh, all right, good.
Yeah.
So this is, to a large extent, actually quite convenient. I mean, you know, the idea of being able to walk in and out of shops without having to queue is good, isn't it? Or is it? Jeremy, I mean, there are some benefits to this. I mean, if you had creepy crawlers, because this is where it's going with this Internet of Things and all the rest of it, you're going to have these tiny little computers crawling around your body, in your veins, clearing out your arteries and stuff like that.
You read that?
Like coal miners or whatever. What is? There are positives potentially. What are the downsides?
Have you read Brave New World?
Yeah, Aldous Huxley. Yes.
Yes, I think apart from the computer thing, I think that's what they're aiming for. They want to believe everybody will be really happy, but you're only happy if you're unquestionably zombie-like happy. If you have a personality and you question things, you're never going to be happy in this world. If you just go along and say, oh, look, I can buy some bread. Thank you. Well done. This is brilliant. And you can, you don't live a life. You just exist. Then, yeah, fine, you could be happy. But if you want other things out of life and you want to do things and you want to think and debate different points of view and show different opinions and have a diversity of opinion, the only diversity that counts, by the way, then no, you can't live in that world. You can't live in that world because you can't question anything.
This is the thing that concerns me.
Main points.
It's the thing that really concerns me, Jeremy, isn't so much that there aren't some benefits here, because I think that there are some fantastic benefits, but it's liberty and freedom of choice, and to be able to think outside of the box without being accused of being some kind of, oh, you're not with the page, and therefore we're going to turn your chip off. And who's in charge? Who is in charge?
That is where it's down to, isn't it? Who is in charge? Who is in charge of this global goals? Who's in charge of saying, when you get to the supermarket with no money, just a card, it seems, sorry, your card's been declined. Why? Well, at Facebook yesterday, you put it'll be something else then, but you put a video up that wasn't quite right. Now, can you take it down and then we'll allow you to pay?
That's it.
Or you're not told and you're taken off to one of Justin Trudeau's concentration camps to be re-educated.
Yeah, like China has. Re-education camps.
Yeah, re-education camps. And then it's down to, for me, it's down to next Tuesday, Wednesday. I think this is the tipping point. As I said to you this afternoon, Ollie, the tipping point is now.
Sir.
And I know some of the things I would question Trump over, but I think he is it's like, help me, Obi-Wan, you are my last hope. Help me, Obi-Wan. And Trump is our Obi-Wan, our last hope.
But I hope so.
Because we are the rebels now.
I agree. I mean, I've been studying this guy since he ran for office, and at first, like everybody else, I thought, oh, come on. I mean, this guy, he was like the equivalent of Alan Sugar on The Apprentice or whatever it was, sacking people on just a loudmouth and all the rest of it, which he still is. But actually, the fact is that his record has been fantastic. He's done everything that he soapboxed on in 2015, running last time for 2016 election.
He hasn't built that bloody wall yet. I want to see that great big beautiful wall.
He's built most of it, and that's without having the Congress on his side. I mean, it's been pretty amazing what he has done and bearing in mind that he's had the whole kitchen sink thrown at him by the globalist establishment that clearly want to stop this. I mean, he stood up when the World Economic Forum announced the Great Reset about 3-4 years ago at Davos. Trump stood up and he said, pretty famous speech, you know what, this is not the kind of globalization that I believe in. This kind of globalization has got to stop. We need to start, national leaders need to be leading their people and looking out for their people. And I am going to be putting America first rather than, for example, carting off jobs to China, which is what Obama, Biden did, and so on and so forth, and all these kind of things. And what he says when he gets up at his rallies, he's done these things. It's true. He has brought these factories back and all the rest of it. He said, no, this Great Reset, no. That's what he said. Within a week, George Soros stands up and says, this guy's dangerous. This administration cannot stand. And they have been throwing everything at him ever since, including Mueller, with all the Russians that started with what was a disinformation campaign funded by Hillary Clinton's Clinton Foundation against the...
but that's not been talked about very much, is it?
The candidate for the GOP.
That's not been talked about massively.
And so they've thrown everything at him. Mueller, all the Russians, reams of newsprint. They must have cut down a rainforest full of newsprint. Lies, nothing proven in trying to derail the Trump train. And then a phony political impeachment. This is true. I'm not making it up. I do not trust politicians by default. No. But actually, you know what? Trump isn't a politician.
That's exactly what he said. The line he used, and it was the perfect line that won him millions of votes. It won him that hashtag, how do I change my vote? Or can I change my vote? That's what won him that tag. That because he said it, I'm not a politician. And that's what a lot of people in Europe don't like about him, because I've sort of come out of the closet. I will tell people I like Trump in the streets. That's not easy over here. That's not easy over here. I've lost clients because of it. You can't support Trump. You must be a racist. I said, why? And they got nothing. And I have, because I know the facts. I've been working like you. I've been looking at it for a long time. But I don't know what you like yourself, but in my town, 12, 13,000 people, I'm probably one of about 5 Trump supporters.
Yeah,
there's not many, unless they're very quiet. It's almost zero.
Yeah.
They can't believe it when I suggest that Trump could win. No chance, they say. No chance.
In Spain, people are even more taken in by the whole EU thing and all the rest of it, globalization, than they are in the UK. I mean, they really are. They didn't even know about the Great Reset. They got no clue whatsoever. Most of the Brits don't either, by the way. But in Spain, the media is even worse than in the UK. I mean, it's incredible. Did you see that show last night, Carl Tucker on Fox News, his interview with
Carlson? Oh, yes. I watch him every day. Falsely.
Tony
with
Bobulinsky.
Bobulinsky.
Yeah. Decombobulating Bobulinsky. Tell us, fill us in. Who is Tony Bobulinsky?
Well, he was, I suppose, a fixer-upper, a businessman who was fixing up deals with China for the Bidens. Yeah. And he was part of that deals, and he was talking to the Biden family, to Hunter and to Jim Biden, Joe's brother, and had meetings with Joe Biden.
Who made a shed load of money in Iraq.
And got phone calls, got emails, got his mobiles with the texts on it. So all the evidence he had, but he's a Russian spy, obviously.
Well, what he basically said last night, no, was that Hunter Biden puts down in an email to him that he is in with the head of Intel in China. Yeah. The head spy, the top spy in China, Hunter Biden is in bed with. He's then talking to his dad about his business deals. And we know his dad is involved in his business deals because we have it on record of Joe Biden himself boasting how he managed to get one of the top prosecutors in Ukraine sacked because that guy was investigating his son's business. The media isn't covering any of this.
How can that be ignored?
Unbelievable, isn't it? Unbelievable. Tony Bobulinsky last night, he said how he came from a military family, highly decorated, his father, himself, his brother. And when the likes of, I think, Chuck Schumer, Democrat, or Nancy Pelosi called him on telly part of a Russian disinformation campaign, i.e. a commie or whatever, he felt physically sick. And he decided he had to go on the record. And that's why he went on Tucker Carlson last night. And
Ollie and Jeremy, did you see the live stream today for the Senate hearing? You had the CEO from Facebook, from the robot, the one from Scruffy Gip, and the
Twitter
guy from Google. Yeah. And the three of them were doing a live stream link up. And you had that Ted Cruz. He went ballistic.
Republican.
Yeah, he went ballistic at the guy from Twitter. He really ripped into him massively.
Oh, let's find that.
Legendary to watch. If you get a chance to go back and watch it, you should.
Oh, I'm going to find it. I was
working. See, Jason.
Yeah. Just go onto YouTube. Type in Senate, Google, Twitter, Facebook. It's there. It was on Fox News. It was on a few different networks going live on YouTube.
It'll be on Tucker tomorrow morning.
Here it is.
This is it, people.
Try and find the Ted Cruz bit with Ted Cruz and
holding this hearing.
Oh, it's Ted Cruz.
The three.
Oh yeah.
And he was tearing the guy from Twitter. Excuse my language. He was tearing him a new arsehole. He really was.
Listen to this. This is it. This is it, people.
It's
8 minutes, and it just sums up what we're up against. People just want to get the truth.
And this was all about the coverage, censoring the coverage to lead them to go one way politically. Yeah.
Listen to this,
the laptop, Hunter Biden's laptop. The one thing with the evidence there. It's evidence. You've got the phones now of Bobulinsky. You've actually got Biden saying, yes, I got him sacked. You've got this amazing amount of money and for a guy who's been a politician his whole life. There's no... You can go to Trump and say, yeah, he was a businessman. He made a lot of money. And he might have made dodgy deals, but he wasn't making it pretending to be a politician.
That's right.
He was making it a businessman doing dodgy deals.
Yeah. Well, I don't know whether they're dodgy or not. I don't know. I mean, apparently he paid a lot of tax.
What I'm saying is he's a businessman and he's expected to do everything he can to make money.
Yes.
Whereas a politician should be doing everything they can to make the country they're from as good as it can. Make America great again. Isn't that
public service?
Exactly what every single American politician should be doing?
That's right, sir.
That's disgusting.
Hey, listen.
Look what we just looked at now. A great reset.
Okay. Go on.
Was number 3. America won't be the number 1 power. Well, if you're an American, why the hell do you want the Great Reset? If you want to just get rid of put your country down. Why would you vote for that? What good is it going to do you? Get rid of the oil industry.
Same in the UK. Hey?
Yeah.
The thing is, the average American isn't aware. This Great Reset, there's no debate, no mandate.
No.
It's exactly the same with all those EU treaties. When did anybody ever vote, apart from going into the EEC, a trading arrangement? When did anybody ever vote for Lisbon or for?
It was the common market then. It wasn't even the EEC, was it?
That's right.
I think it was the common market, just a trade agreement, and then the European Community, then the EU, and we didn't get a vote. I don't remember voting on it. I just remember we had a vote and we said we're going to leave. And what happened to that? Whatever happened to that? Britain leaving.
They want to try and see if Trump can be kicked off his perch and then stop it, it seems to me. Yeah. And instead of which, we have the Great Reset, which is the complete opposite of Brexit. Okay, this is Ted Cruz grilling Jack Dorsey from Twitter about his overt censorship of the New York Post's story exposing the Biden crime family.
Chairman, I want to thank you, Mr. Chairman, for holding this hearing. The three witnesses we have before this committee today collectively pose, I believe, the single greatest threat to free speech in America and the greatest threat we have to free and fair elections. Yesterday, I spent a considerable amount of time speaking with both Mr. Zuckerberg and Mr. Pichai. I have concerns about the behavior of both of their companies. I would note that Facebook is at the minimum at least trying to make some efforts in the direction of defending free speech. I appreciate their doing so. Google, I agree with the concerns that Senator Klobuchar raised. I think Google has more power than any company on the face of the planet. And the antitrust concerns are real. The impact of Google is profound. And I expect we will have continued and ongoing discussions about Google's abuse of that power and its willingness to manipulate search outcomes to influence and change election results. But today, I want to focus my questioning on Mr. Dorsey and on Twitter. Because of the three players before us, I think Twitter's conduct has by far been the most egregious. Mr. Dorsey, does Twitter have the ability to influence elections?
No.
You don't believe Twitter has any ability to influence elections?
No, we are one part of a broad spectrum of communication channels that people have.
So you're testifying to this committee right now that Twitter, when it silences people, when it censors people, when it blocks political speech, that has no impact on elections?
People have choice of other communication channels with which.
Not if they don't hear information. If you don't think you have the power to influence elections, why do you block anything?
Well, we have policies that are focused on making sure that more voices on the platform are possible. We see a lot of abuse and harassment, which ends up silencing people and having them leave from the platform.
All right, Mr. Dorsey, I find your opening questions, your opening answers absurd on their face. But let's talk about the last 2 weeks in particular. As you know, I have long been concerned about Twitter's pattern of censoring and silencing individual Americans with whom Twitter disagrees. But 2 weeks ago, Twitter, and to a lesser extent, Facebook, crossed a threshold that is fundamental in our country. 2 weeks ago, Twitter made the unilateral decision to censor the New York Post in a series of 2 blockbuster articles, both alleging evidence of corruption against Joe Biden, the first concerning Ukraine, the second concerning communist China. And Twitter made the decision, number one, to prevent users, any user, from sharing those stories. And number two, you went even further and blocked the New York Post from sharing on Twitter its own reporting. Why did Twitter make the decision to censor the New York Post?
We had a hack materials policy that we.
When was that policy adopted?
In 2018, I believe.
In 2018, go ahead. What was the policy?
So the policy is around limiting the spread of materials that are hacked. We didn't want Twitter to be a distributor for hack materials. We found that the New York Post, because it showed the direct materials, screenshots of the direct materials, and it was unclear how those were attained, that it fell under this policy. Now,
so in your view, if it's unclear the source of a document, and in this instance, the New York Post documented what it said the source was, which it said it was a laptop owned by Hunter Biden that had been turned into a repair store. So they weren't hiding what they claimed to be the source. Is it your position that Twitter, when you can't tell the source, blocks press stories?
No, not at all. Our team made a fast decision. The enforcement action, however, of blocking URLs, both in tweets and in DM, in direct messages, we believe was incorrect. And we changed it.
Today,
24
right
hours.
now, the New York Post is still blocked from tweeting 2 weeks later.
Yes, they have to log into their account, which they can do at this minute, delete the original tweet, which fell under our original enforcement actions, and they can tweet the exact same material and the exact same article, and it would go through.
So, Mr. Dorsey, your ability is you have the power to force a media outlet. Let's be clear. The New York Post isn't just some random guy tweeting. The New York Post has the 4th highest circulation of any newspaper in America. The New York Post is over 200 years old. The New York Post was founded by Alexander Hamilton. And your position is that you can sit in Silicon Valley and demand of the media that you can tell them what stories they can publish, and you can tell the American people what reporting they can hear. Is that right?
No, this was a, every person, every account, every organization that signs up to Twitter agrees to a terms of service. Terms of service is
so
published.
Media outlets must genuflect and obey your dictates if they wish to be able to communicate with readers. Is that right?
No, not at all. We recognized an error in this policy, and specifically the enforcement.
You're still blocking their
changed it.
posts. You're still blocking their posts. Right now, today, you're blocking their posts.
We're not blocking the post. Anyone can tweet these
Can the New York Post post on their Twitter account?
if they go into their account.
No is your answer to that. No, unless they genuflect and agree with your dictates. Let me ask you something.
Just to clarify on that point, very, very briefly, the New York Post was censored for nearly a week by Twitter, and during this hearing, their account eerily was restored. That's the truth of it.
You claimed it was because of a hacked materials policy. I find that facially highly dubious and clearly employed in a deeply partial way. Did Twitter block the distribution of the New York Times' story a few weeks ago that purported to be based on copies of President Trump's tax returns?
We didn't find that a violation of our terms of service and this policy in particular because it was reporting about the material. It wasn't distributing the material.
Okay, well, that's actually not true. They posted what they purported to be original source materials, and federal law, federal statute makes it a crime, a federal felony, to distribute someone's tax returns against their knowledge. So that material was based on something that was distributed in violation of federal law, and yet Twitter gleefully allowed people to circulate that. But when the article was critical of Joe Biden, Twitter engaged in rampant censorship and silencing.
And again, we recognized errors in that policy. We changed it within 24 hours. This is.
But you're still blocking the New York Post. You haven't changed it.
We have changed it. They can log into their account, delete the original tweet. That was
You forced a Politico reporter to take down his post about the New York Post as well. Is that correct?
Within that 24-hour period, yes. But we, as the policy has changed, anyone can tweet.
So
this
Twitter
article.
takes the view you can censor the New York Post, you can censor Politico, presumably you can censor the New York Times or any other media outlet. Mr. Dorsey, who the hell elected you and put you in charge of what the media are allowed to report and what the American people are allowed to hear? And why do you persist in behaving as a Democratic super PAC, silencing views to the contrary of your political beliefs?
Let's give Mr. Dorsey a few seconds to answer that, and then we'll have to conclude this segment.
Well, we're not doing that, and this is why I opened this hearing with calls for more transparency. We realize we need to earn trust more. We realize that more accountability is needed to show our intentions and to show the outcomes.
Thank you, Senator.
So I hear the concerns and acknowledge them, but we want to fix it with more transparency.
Thank you, Senator Cruz.
They've been
Jeremy.
caught. That's what they mean.
Did you feel like he got saved there? But like you said, yeah.
Oh, he did get saved by the bell.
He did. He got saved
saved
and
by the bell.
shut down, and
I don't know that he was saved at all. Seems to me that Ted Cruz totally roasted him and made the point most conclusively. I mean, who elected these masters of the universe? It's not just him, it's Zuckerzits too. That, I mean, I'm not allowed to post in groups at the moment for God knows how long. I get rolling bans just because I'm putting out this Biden stuff, for example. And I'm being very careful with my language, by the way, to say that these are allegations, that they need to be investigated and all the rest of it. But the fact is, the whole bloody thing stinks. This guy's running for the highest office, will be basically the most important man in the world potentially, or else Kamala Harris will. Well, that's another question that the press isn't covering. And the question is he in China's pocket? Is he on side of the American people and Western civilization, or is he in charge in favour of the Great Reset and globalist fascism?
Leaks. They said they won't show leaks. Well, how the hell do we get information on our governments without leaks? Who gives us information on the governments that the governments don't want us to hear? Without leaks, all we have is government propaganda being pumped out. How do we find out what's going on behind closed doors without leakers? Yeah. They have to. Right. That's absolute bullshit.
Like Snowden. Was it Ed Snowden?
Yeah. Ed Snowden, yeah.
Great film.
This is.
And Julian Assange, who is basically dying in a prison cell. And if there isn't anything that is more disgusting about the British government, I mean, I know there's another side to it, saying that you could argue that he put servicemen lives at risk and what have you. But the fact
I don't believe that.
At the moment,
I can't go with that.
I'm just saying there's two sides to that argument, Jeremy. But the fact is, he's been in prison for years, effectively, and he's never been tried yet for anything.
Nope, nothing. Well, I've said many times that is, in this case, every journalist should be defending him, because if they don't defend him, imagine a journalist in America gets a story about Russia and wants to put it out. If that story comes from Russia illegally, do the Americans then, on the same kind of thing as Julian Assange, have to send him for trial to Russia? Is any journalist anywhere in the world safe to publish anything that criticises any government?
It's the same with Ed Snowden, isn't it? I mean, he's effectively been denied his own culture and country, and he's living in Russia. He's just taken citizenship because, I guess he's frightened of being God knows whatted if he goes back home.
Imagine being happier in Russia and being safer in Russia than in America or Britain or Europe.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Were you going to say suicided then, Ollie?
Well, yeah, Arkancided, actually. I was going to say Arkancided.
Yeah,
but
more like it.
Oh, how long have we got, Jeremy?
She's coming back at all? Do you think she's going to come back? Talking of Arkancided, do you think old Hillary is coming back?
Oh, mate, God forbid. God forbid. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. How long have we got, Jeremy?
We got half an hour. I wouldn't put it past Hillary coming back. I wouldn't put it past her. But Biden gets pushed to the side and suddenly appears somewhere in the mix, either Michael Obama or Hillary. One of those two.
There's a train of thought out there saying that they want to throw. I don't think this is true. I don't think it's true at all, actually. But it's an interesting theory, so I'll just chuck it out. And maybe the Clintons like it, or she does, because I don't think Bill really cares. Or maybe he does, because he wants to get back in with the power base. But they want to throw this election, and so that's why Biden, dementia candidate or whatever, vote dementia, is in there, and Kamala Harris is unelectable. So they're effectively throwing the election, which means that Hillary has a chance to run 4 years from now. I don't know. I don't really buy that, but I'm sure she is still very ambitious because she's completely mad.
Yeah, but perhaps the spawn of Satan will run. Perhaps that the ugly one, what's her name? Their daughter,
Chelsea.
That's the one. The football club, Yeah, perhaps she'll run. Who knows?
Suggestions that I've heard is that after Trump has his second term, his son would get into politics. So he
That'll
made
be
a
a good
Trump,
one.
a
He's
Trump
very
dynasty.
good, his son.
You know, what's his son's name? I forget his name now.
Eric.
Hunter, no, Hunter Biden. Oh, Jesus.
No, it's Eric, isn't it? You mean Eric, not Barron.
Oh, no,
I'm not sure, but yeah, but that would be
Yeah, it's Eric
interesting,
Trump.
wouldn't it? You know?
Donald Trump Jr. is his name.
Yeah, Trump Jr. Yeah,
It's Donald Trump
he did an
Jr.
amazing Corona documentary video that I watched. That guy.
Just to show how bad they are and how racist they are, could we take a look, because I can't share it, I'm sorry, at the Chelsea Handler video. I sent you the link. That would be a nice, fun link, but it also is very strong, and it shows you about the demon rats. Really,
Yes.
I've got a theory that they've never actually
Yeah.
given up on slavery, and that's
Yeah.
part of the Great Reset,
Yeah.
is returning
Yeah.
to slavery, returning
Yeah,
to
this is-
masters and slaves.
This is how mad
Because
they are.
it seems that the Great Reset is about slavery. It's
Yeah.
about putting the most people in the world back into slavery.
Yeah. All right.
Under the
Okay.
UN.
Hold on.
And
Comedian
when you hear
reveals.
what Chelsea Handler says about 50 Cent,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've
this
heard
is,
that.
She goes on for 8 minutes with that
No,
Whoopi
you
Goldberg.
only need the first minute. That's it.
I
You
don't know that I
need
can take
anything.
that.
It's just
Right. Okay. All right.
A
I've got
minute.
it. I'll
less
put it
than a
on, mate.
minute.
Right. Okay. Okay.
The link I
Look,
sent you, I think, is about a minute long.
Right. We'll try
Simulcast
this.
is,
Okay. Fine. Just to show how mad these people are. Because I mean,
if you
frankly,
stop
you
it
are.
when she first says, and then at the end, there's two separate things she says, which is really important, I think.
Am I speaking out of turn, Jeremy, by calling these? I mean, it seems to me, if you support the kind of violence, for example, that we saw going down in Philadelphia last night, where this guy who ran at the cops with a knife gets shot because guess what? The cops didn't want to die, and that's what you do if you're in that position: is you protect yourself. I mean, the guy very possibly should have been in an asylum anyway, and maybe we should be looking after mental health, and that's another issue again. Yeah. But if you're one of the boys in blue and you're protecting yourself, hopefully not innocent protesters, but somebody that is running at you with a knife, guess what? You're likely to, put them down. And then Philadelphia last night was on fire. On fire.
Yep.
Go on, Jeremy. Am I wrong to say these people that want to vote for that want to defund the police, etc.? They're mad. They're mad.
He was chasing the police. They were holding a gun and he was chasing them. And they were running away. They were running around the car and away from him. And I thought, shoot the bastard. Shoot him now. And they did. And I don't want to see people die. But, what choice do you have in that situation? They did the right thing. They shot him. And that's it.
I think Biden's line is shoot him in the leg or something. But if you're in that situation, are you going to take the chance that, I don't know, you missed or something? You go for the biggest bit, no? They let off about 10 rounds on the guy, I got to say. But the guy had a knife and he was going, I don't know. Right, this is
Handler.
Yeah, libtardia right here.
Please welcome back Chelsea Handler. Girl, I've made those calls. I know exactly that hotel. Joy.
No, it wasn't this one.
It's on you, Joy.
So
that's the wrong one.
So Chelsea, the election is less than a week away. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
That's not
and
the
you've
one.
been very outspoken.
I sent you a link on the
on the old messenger thing.
Yeah, the second leg.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
no.
In the middle.
That's another one. Yeah. Not Luton. Chelsea Handler reminds 50 Cent that he's black. Well, he probably knows that, he's probably aware of it.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. This is the problem. He doesn't.
He doesn't.
She has to remind him, and she has to tell him what he can do if he's black.
He needs to go to one of those re-education camps in Canada and get... Here we go.
He just has to listen to her.
Right. Yeah. Listen to your wife. Generally a good idea, but right.
Go. You heard about my ex-boyfriend, right? 50 Cent and his support of Donald Trump.
Yeah, what's going on between you? I saw your tweets and I go, wait, what's happening? Because you said he was your favorite ex-boyfriend and then what does he do? He's supporting Trump?
He says he doesn't want to pay 62% of taxes, which, by the way, isn't a plan of Joe Biden's. That's a lie. So he doesn't want to pay 62% of taxes because he doesn't want to go from being 50 cents to 20 cents. And I had to remind him that he was a black person, so he can't vote for Donald Trump, and that he shouldn't be influencing an entire swath of people who may listen to him because he's worried about his own personal pocketbook. So I haven't heard back from him yet, but
so for a start, it's not swath, it's swathe. Yeah, it's swathe.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, Jeremy.
Right. Imagine she is saying that if you're black, you can only vote for Biden.
Yeah.
And she knows, and she can tell you, and he can go out, 50 cents can go out and tell all his fans to vote for Biden because she says that's okay, because she's a white woman in control. And he has to listen to her, but can only influence them in one direction. Now, if that's not the most racist comment, that you are black, you can only vote one way. I'm sorry, the color of your skin means you only have one opinion.
How
and
condescending.
you listen to me because I know what it is to be a black person. I'm telling you what it is to be a black person.
And as usual, the person saying this is white and privileged.
And very rich and entitled. And she's a Democrat. So that means, and so what she's saying, you are my slave. You tell the rest of the blacks to do as I say because I know best for you.
Yeah.
You know,
well, that's what Biden said, wasn't it? You ain't black. But if you're not going to vote for me, you ain't black. Shall I play the rest of this stupid moron?
She's a whore.
Person?
The next bit says, I'm a whore. I'm a whore. I'm a whore. Listen.
Blimey. Lovely. Okay, here we go.
Personal pocketbook. So I haven't heard back from him yet, but I am willing to, seal the deal in more ways than one if he changes his mind and publicly denounces Donald Trump. I might be willing to go for another spin, if you know what I'm talking about.
Okay, that's the end there. You got the...
Gonna go for
so
another...
she's prepared.
Nice.
She is a whore.
That's hot, yeah. God.
Yeah.
She is the owner of the plantation that says, do what I tell you, and you can fuck me, excuse my French.
Yeah.
And you tell all the other blacks, if they want, I'm here. But they got to vote the way I tell them. Now, that is a liberal. And I'm not making this up. You just heard it. Vote the way I tell you because you're black and you can only vote one day. And I'll open my legs for you as well because I'm a good person. Vote Biden. That's liberals. They believe they are right and they know everything that is right. And they know black people only are allowed to vote one way. That is possibly one of the most racist people I have ever seen. And somebody tell me she's not racist. No. She thinks she can control black people with her pussy. And that's it.
Unbelievable.
I'm sorry to be crude, but she said it, not me.
Unbelievable. You know what? We haven't taken any comments tonight, Jeremy.
Sorry.
Which is very, very poor. Would you like to do that? Would you like to take some?
I got to find the comments first.
Well, look, while you find some, I'm gonna read some.
You go through them, and I'll see if I can find some at the same time.
We got Helen. Helen Lasky-Smith. God bless you, Helen. I wondered where you'd gone. I hope you're well. I researched. I'm not computer literate. No, we know that. And she also says, crikey, bring back the Viscount. I watched this in TV. Old Rodders, God bless him, is very healthy now. Very healthy. He's completely sober, which is probably why he no longer comes on the show. Strawman, do you even know who paid Trump's debts off back to me? Debts off, get back to me, rookie. Do you even know who paid Trump's debts off? Get back to me, rookie. No, is the answer. Truth seeker, Strawman probably blames Trump for the China plague. Well, if Trump's
father got bailed him out in business, didn't he? So.
Oh, well, he left him shed loads of cash.
But also, they talk about debt. That's a bit of bullshit. That is because if you were building massive buildings,
is that even criminal?
You borrow money.
Is it even criminal?
You borrow money.
Yeah. I mean, debt is not a crime unless you don't pay it back or something. I mean, you could argue debt is a moral crime and, the whole banking system and all the rest of it. But anyway, look, you know what? He was in business. He wasn't in public service getting, his son, nepotism and all that stuff. Amanda Rolfson says, but Ollie, there is not CV-19 virus. So no one is being infected by it. The masks are not required, etc. Thomas Daniel on Facebook, expert in this, will put anyone right. And she also says, flu is a coronavirus, as is the common cold, as is Ebola. The only way to get these viruses get into our Ebola. Into our system is they are being injected into our bloodstream. Rose Petal, scamdemic / plandemic. Completely agree. And Alan Widowson says they are adding flu and COVID together. Harold Chapman Hancock is on board with the fourth industrial revolution, stroke the Great Reset. And he stood up and he gave a speech about the Great Reset in praise of it 3 or 4 years ago. Something else the media don't talk about. Wake Up UK is saying Parler is really good. That'll be Jason, who's right here. And Rose Petal, I didn't consent to this tyranny. Boris Johnson has given Bill Gates millions of pounds for a vaccine for Africa. What happened? Yeah, I understand, gentlemen.
Yeah, but
there
Bill
was
Gates,
a lot of money
in all of this. You've got to ask a question. Sorry, Mr. Chaos.
Please.
I'm just saying that Bill Gates, he's such a good guy. He's giving money to everybody for this. But while everybody is stuck in their houses getting poor, he's getting richer and richer and richer. His wealth has gone up massively. What a good guy. Boris Johnson said, thank you, Mr. Gates, for helping us. As Boris Johnson bought 90 million vials of his vaccine that's not being produced. Thank you, Mr. Gates. We love you. Thank you for helping kill the world. Sorry.
I understand. No, that's all right. I understand that the British government has had something like 100 billion pounds that is somehow there are stories about it just going missing, or where has it been spent? There's no proper accounting for the money that's been spent on the testing in the UK. Do either of you, Jason or Jeremy, because I don't know anything about that, but I have heard it, and a lot of people are very concerned about it.
Well, I know over here that the schools, they're testing massively. And to test a class of kids, it's about €5,000. Just one class.
Really?
And they're testing class after class after class of kids. That's why it's like a test-demic over here, where if you keep testing,
that's right.
You're going to keep getting it.
That's right.
It's I always say, if you've got a swimming pool full of balls, the more balls you pick out, if you pick out a handful, you might get one virus. You pick out a bucket full, you get 10 viruses. You empty the swimming pool, you're going to find all the viruses. That doesn't mean to say there's more virus in the swimming pool. It just means you picked out more and looked at them. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. The people are falling for it day in, day out, without question.
No name. Nos Logan says Reagan versus Walter Mondale in 1984. 49-1. Epic landslide. Indeed. Reagan term 2 was a landslide, that election. Not that big, but big. He's talking about this time. It's looking like Reagan versus Mondale in 84, says no name. And also says Bobulinsky was an
Mr. Ollie, on next Wednesday, what is going really? Because the propaganda machine in the Inkistas, they've got it wrong all along, and they'll get it right on the day of the election. So what is the result going to be? Let's have some kind of I've said 273 to 280, which is not really a landslide, but it's a positive for Trump considering he's so far behind. But I'm beginning to rethink more. You win bigger. What about yourself?
Oh, blimey. I am loath to predict it because I'm so genuinely worried about it. I think that looking at the turnout that he's getting, tens of thousands, as opposed to Biden, 10.
Tens.
Not even tens. And I would say, logic tells me, it's going to be a landslide for Trump. But there is so much riding on this election, more than on any election in my lifetime. The last election, the last US election, was crucial, absolutely crucial. But this one, there's even more riding on it. And I am pretty scared, frankly. If they don't concede, and we know Hillary Clinton's on video saying, under no circumstances, Joe Biden, must you concede on election night. Under no circumstances. I mean, these are the most peculiar politics. Extraordinary. Just unheard of in a democracy for a competitor to use that kind of undemocratic language. There is no, absolutely no excuse for it. It's the kind of language that you might expect to hear in, I don't know, North Korea or Iran or something. I mean, just horrid
Wales,
language
or Wales.
in terms of democracy, or maybe Wales, maybe Scotland. It's just
Scotland
unbelievable.
For Scotland, for sure.
Unbelievable. We have gone absolutely perverse. But so that's what scares me. It seems to me. I was listening to Steve Bannon earlier, having a chat about the possible outcomes, and it does look as though this could well end up in the Supreme Court. And one of the best things that's happened in this presidency, there's been 3 Supreme Court picks out of 9 on that court by Trump, which is amazing. And they've all been good picks. And the last one, Amy Coney Barrett, she's awesome, isn't she? Super bright and lovely and all the rest of it.
I can't see anything negative about her. I can't see negative.
They couldn't find anything. Could they? Even Feinstein, who is so anti anything to do with Trump, said essentially, I can't fault you. And then she got it in the neck from the Democrats for being honest. But it was incredible. Anyway, it could well.
I think that could be a problem.
Come down to
For
her.
me, that could be a problem because they know they can't take it through the courts. They're not going to give up, but they know they can't take it through the courts. So are we going to see more Philadelphia violence on the streets? Are we going to see them coming out? But I think they've got a bigger problem if they do that. The real power is of the armed mobs is not in your black Philadelphia. It's not in your city centres. It's outside. It's in the country. That's where the real power lies with the people. In terms of if they're going to have an armed rebellion, it's the areas. It's not the cities with the liberals. It really is the gun-toting Midwest, as they were, that they need to be worried about.
And they're good shooters.
So they'll be kicking themselves in the arse if they go down that route.
They may or may not, because I mean there is so much chatter. I don't quite know what to believe. But for example, somebody I respect very much, Tom Fitton from Judicial Review, and he's been talking lots and lots and lots about what might happen on election day night or kick off then, and the plans. I've read these plans from Antifa type groups that are basically saying once you've cast your vote on election day, stay on the street. And I've heard rumours that they have been preparing warehouses with Molotov cocktails and guns and God knows what, which they're ready to start using. People, if you're listening to this or watching this stateside, be very careful. For crying out loud, do not be dissuaded from democracy and casting your vote. Do not be scared into that, but be careful and look out for your neighborhood and look out for your neighbors and make sure that everybody is aware, and make sure that you have people in every neighborhood that are essentially alert throughout the night, that are really, really paying attention. And some of the stuff I've been hearing is terrible. I do wonder if election day, it may be looked back in history as being the day that the second Civil War in America kicked off.
Well, there's a big percentage of Americans think that, and AJ, one of them, that's his big worry. He lives in California.
Yeah.
AJ comes on, and he says he can see it coming. But you can imagine somewhere like California breaking away. But I'm sure a state like that and the sheer left wing, the media, the pedo would and the Hollywood lot would die because the money wouldn't be there for them then. Mm-hmm. They couldn't stay there. When their area starts going down, then they perhaps realize, because it's easy to be this liberal left, everything is great, when you just sit back in your big house and you don't have to put up with the consequences.
I think
when
it's
you
happening.
live in areas, you have to see the consequences of mass immigration, of people on the streets just unemployed, of all the children being raped by rape gangs. Then it's different. When you got young kids who are out in the same schools, you're not in private schools, you see a very different picture. And these people don't see that picture, and they never have seen it, and they won't. It'll take them a long, long time. One or two of them are starting to open their eyes to wake up, but
they're seeing it in Malibu.
A lot more.
They're seeing it in Malibu.
Sorry?
They are seeing it now. They're seeing it now off the back of this last summer. They're seeing it in Malibu. Such as the number of folks that have come over the border and they haven't got anywhere to live or whatever. You drive down, what is it? Down the beachfront, Malibu way, and it's all tents. People, living rough and what have you, and using people's front gardens as toilets and stuff like that. And I mean, it's completely nuts. And in New York, shed load of people moving out. There are exoduses from California and from New York. Both governors, Cuomo in New York and I can't remember his name in California, are begging people to stay.
Not Devin Newsom. Devin Newsom, no.
Newsom. Yeah, Newsom. Yeah, they are begging people, please stay, don't leave. It's just incredible.
Well, I know I like Ben Shapiro, and he's taken the whole of his team, and they've moved out. And he employs overall, I think it's about 60 people, and they've gone. They're leaving. He said no, and they go. I don't know. I think they're going to Texas or somewhere, but they're moving out. Yeah. They go in. And they said there's no point in staying because it's not worth it. It's just not worth it.
So, Jeremy, what are we doing? Yeah. What are we doing? And Jason, next Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay. I'm up for it. I promised AJ a seat, so he's in. But I was thinking, this is not going to really kick off till 3 or 4 in the morning, is it?
No, that's right.
So I would rather myself, because I actually start work quite early, I'd rather myself get some kip and join you about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Well, that's when I'm going to start. I'm not going to start till then.
I'll join in, mate.
Yeah.
Brilliant, Jason.
Get some kip first, online about 4 o'clock when the first results come through.
Well, look, can we do this also with Revolution Radio in the States, which is a fantastic group of truth seekers, and it's their patch. And I think between us, I know that Tim Otto Hill in Portland is interested in being. He is feeling very sensitive about this election, so he wants to decide at the last minute because he's pretty emotional about this. And Chris Boozy in California, he's going to join us too. But man,
count me in.
Wicked.
Count me in.
Wicked. So that is next Tuesday night. No, it isn't. It's next Wednesday.
Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning. And it's going to go on for 6 weeks. Till we get the result from the Supreme Court.
Till we get the results. Until I have to get my kids up for school at 7:30. And then I gotta move.
Well, Jeremy, that's awesome, mate. Because if you could take the slack in the first bit of the show, then more or less, and then I'll catch up. I mean, just basically snooze in the background. But between us,
what's all this sleeping? How old are you two?
I tell you what, it's going to be a marathon.
Get a few beers in and stay awake, you lightweights. Come on.
It's going to be at least an 8-hour show. Jason, are you up for an 8-hour show?
Snooze? What's all this all about?
Yeah.
Are you up for an 8-hour show? It could be a 12-hour show. It's going to be a big
I'm going to take my kids to school at some point.
Ollie, do you remember Easter a few years ago when the crazy DJ Ego and Russell Bossman did a 48-hour live stream, 24 hours?
No,
each.
I didn't. I never knew that. I didn't know that.
24 hours each, back to back. They were sitting there after about 18 hours, struggling to stay awake. But they went.
I bet they were.
I think it was Friday midnight to Sunday midnight, non-stop.
No, thank you.
I've got to get old Charles
time.
involved as well. Charles, if he's about, it would be.
I'm sure
you know,
Charles will get involved.
he can bring in the.
He was great on election night, wasn't he?
As they come in,
he was
wicked for the UK election. Yeah, brilliant. Look, and also I've got a mate in Australia, David Scott Kane, who's an ex-politician, may well be popping in to have a chat. And Stephen Place, UKIP. He's not UKIP anymore, is he? I think he set up a political
Nobody's
party.
UKIP anymore, Ollie.
He wants to pundit too. So
They've
it's
all
going
gone
to be
for Britain or something else.
plus a bunch of folks stateside and Revolution Radio. They're at freedomslips.com. Freedomslips.com. We used to do a show with Piers Garnham before Daily Brexit, and that was with Revolution Radio. They're cracking folks, and they're a bunch of old hippies, really, you know. But they want their freedom.
Well, I think it's time to wrap it up now, guys.
You know what, Ollie, I think you're just a hippie with without the long hair.
I think we've all got a bit of lack of hair. I got nothing left now. But hippies, that's right. Hey, what does it come to when the people who are rebelling and coming forward are 50-plus-year-olds?
Yeah.
Where are the youngsters standing up and saying, "Hey, there's something wrong here"? What has happened?
Look at the universities. Look what they're churning out. You know,
well, we have my daughter on here.
If we don't,
we have my daughter on here.
This is the last chance, Drew. If we don't succeed, we're done for, because
that's what
our kids aren't going to do what we're trying to do.
No,
that's what John Lydon said, wasn't it? Johnny Rotten. He said, "Who would have thought? Who would have thought that the cool kids would be voting conservative. Small c, conservative. Who would have thought it?" He said.
Yeah.
But then my old man always used to tell me, and it's true, isn't it? As you get older, you become conservative.
Your father.
You grow.
You
become your father.
Here's a final story.
Go on.
We've got a guy that does a show each week, and he's 85 years of age. We called him Sir Geoffrey. Now, people of his generation, you often hear them say, "Oh, I remember back in the 60s, how fantastic it was. It's not like nowadays." Well, if I get to his age, and I'm looking back on the millennium and going, "Oh, it was fantastic back then," how shit would it be in like 2040 or 2050 when I'm saying that? Because can it get worse? You know, I want to be 80 years old going, "Yeah, when I was 40, it was fantastic." But
the thing is, I'm already doing it. You know? I'm already doing it, mate. I've been doing it for a few years.
Are these going to be our good old days? You know, are we going to have good old days when we're old?
Yeah, well, this summer,
we've had them.
I give my children some great memories. We travelled. We got an autocaravan, a mobile home. We travelled through France, through Italy, through Slovenia, through Croatia, came back through Italy, and back through France, and we spent a month away touring Europe. So you can still have these good times.
It's have good times, I suppose. But I mean, we're not going to be looking back in like 30, 40 years going, "Oh, we're good in the good old days, old Trump and Biden." You know, we're not,
we won't be saying good old Biden.
The good old days with Boris. You know, we won't be saying
Boris
that.
has let us down. Boris.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, we're going to know the truth of Boris pretty damn soon now, off the back of this election. If well, either way, I think. No, I know if Trump gets back in, we'll never know the truth about Boris, because Boris will deliver Brexit then. By the way, this is a very important thing. If no Trump, no Brexit. But I mean, we've covered that. It's the Great Reset. It's the opposite of Brexit. But if Trump is re-elected, Boris is quite lucky in a way, because his legacy actually could be quite good. history would be completely erased and changed anyway if there's the Great Reset. They're already ripping down the statues and all that. But Boris, he could go down as a Churchillian type character if Trump is re-elected, for the simple reason that Trump's almost certainly got the goods on Boris through Fisagate, and Boris would have to toe the line and would have to deliver Brexit and would be considered to be a hero. And I personally would be glad to pretend that he's a hero if we get Brexit, even though the fact is that he's just a fraud and it is all down to Trump.
I'm very disappointed with Boris. I didn't think he was a fraud. I didn't. I had faith in him. I thought he was going to deliver. I thought this guy is going to be like Trump, and he let us down badly.
Well, he hasn't yet, in fairness, but he's just a windbag. He's like Neil Kinnock.
Yeah.
He's not actually done nothing. I mean, the UN might. Okay, right.
No. I seriously, I've got to go to bed now. I got 6 o'clock start.
We could go on forever. We could go. Should I do an outro? Do you fancy an outro?
If you like. Well, can I just say, Family Man on YouTube? That's me. I'll be back on in 2 days' time, putting videos on. I'm not on at the moment, but I will be back.
And WakeUpUK on YouTube, live streaming 7 days a week.
Every night.
WakeUpUK.net, dailychaos.news. Big cheers to Jason Tyler at Wake Up, and to Jeremy Poole up in Barcelona. God bless him. I'm Ollie Connolly, and this is copyright free. Yeah. And if you are stateside, for goodness sake, don't just vote. Take everybody, and go down and vote. Because you know what? The whole world is on your shoulders. No pressure.